Good evening, fuckers. The gruesome twosome are back, and if you watched the last music video we did, where we were going through Halloween's Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2, you'll know that this video is our top 10 progressive songs. Except, no it ain't. Basically, we asked Jim how far he got with his list about a week ago, and he's got 4 written down, which is rather disconcerting because we asked him the same question about 6 weeks ago, and it was 4 then as well. So fuck knows when that video is coming, but it'll be here sometime in the next 5 years anyway. So in the meantime, I came up with this highly original idea of the top 10 Metallica songs because, okay, we've already done like their best album, and we also covered covered one of their albums in quite some detail in the thrash video, but the actual top 10 songs is not so cut and dry, so that's where this one will come along. So you can expect all the classics to appear in here. You know, Nothing Else Matters, Purify, All Within My Hands, Until It Sleeps, King Nothing. You know, all the greats are all going to be on here.
Don't forget Fuel.
Oh yeah, I can't forget Fuel or Ain't My Bitch.
Well,
what the fucking hell is Metallica doing recording a song called Ain't My Bitch? You know,
right, see, now you're straying into your original idea now, because the original idea for this video, when Chris first suggested it to me, was like the Star Wars video, what the fuck happened with Metallica? And I was like, well, I don't hate Metallica. I don't like a lot of the stuff they done in the 90s, but do I really want to sit there for possibly 4 hours listening to stuff fucking shit?
Oh, I think it would have gone on for a lot more than 4 hours, you know. Well, as far as this list goes, my list contains songs from every Metallica album, all 4 of them. So, you know, it's going to have plenty of the classics in it. It does have a couple of surprises, I think. Whether or not they're good surprises, remains to be seen. Also, we've done this one slightly different. I've came up with my 10, and I've sent Chris the MP3s of my top 10, but with all the ID3 tags taken off them. The file names don't say anything, and I even changed some of the bit rates on them, so some of them are still at 320, but some are at 256, some are at 128. So even like the file size doesn't give you much of a clue. It could still be anything. And we'll be playing the extracts of the songs before we talk about it, and even before we name it, so it really will be like, you know, a bit of a sort of bolt from the blue. And we'll see how this format works. If it works out okay, which I'm hoping it will, then we'll stick with this for future music videos.
I can hand on heart say I have, apart from undoing the RAR file and putting them in a folder, I have not played a single second of them, so hopefully they'll play. But I have got no idea, because I mean, I could have been a cunt and had a sneak preview, but that would have just ruined the video. That's like cheating in a video game. There's no point. So
yeah. Well, let's we'll start by bringing up the player, and as always, we'll have the guests going first. Before we do that, though, how easy, or perhaps how difficult, was it to put together this 10?
Oh, it was fucking very difficult. I mean, I've got a bigger resource pool than you for Metallica, and I still found it difficult. Number one was never going to be any different, but trying to put the rest of them into some order. I'm looking over at my list now. It's like, yeah, it was fucking hard work.
For me, my top 6 pretty much picked themselves. I didn't really have any doubt with any of those. But yeah, 7, 8, 9 and 10, they changed quite a few times. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the final list I've got here. The only ones that may have changed would be number 10. But yeah, I think I've got a fucking belter for number 10, so I don't even think that is going to change much.
Yeah, I like all of the ones I've picked clearly because they're on my list. There's probably going to be a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 on here that you're going to disagree with, but that's the joy of the video. I mean, like I've said to you privately, I'm not going to pick songs just because you like them. I'm going to fuck whether you like them or not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I've got at least 2 that's going to have you thinking, how the fuck you got them in your top 10. I don't think you're going to hate them, but I don't think you're going to agree that they are top 10 sort of material. Anyway, shall we get on the way? Right. So we will start then with your number 10.
Right, okay. I'm trying to think of a good way to sort of intro it in. Let's think. God, blimey, this isn't an oldie. There you go.
Yeah, there we are. Right, let's hear it.
Oh, now I'm going to brace myself. Right, go on. Off you go.
What the fuck is that doing on your list?
I fucking love that song. I'll tell you what, when I got the album Hardwired, like I've said to you before, I keep buying Metallica albums for some unknown fucking reason. And I remember when that song come out and it's like, I can hear the bass. James Hetfield sounds like James Hetfield. Lars Ulrich seems to have remembered how to play the drums and have a drum kit with a snare drum on it. And Kirk Hammett is always good value no matter what. I really fucking like that song, so bollocks to you, you cunt.
The big problem I have with this is, for a start, it's an album I just do not give a monkey's toss about. I've heard this song about 3 times, and that was purely because you sent me the link to it on YouTube. But by the time this album came along, for me, Metallica were fuck all, nothing. I couldn't have been less interested in them, because we had effectively had over 20 years of just non-stop shit from them, and you know it was. I know Death Magnetic was an improvement. Mind you, an improvement over its previous album was not difficult. And I know this is a further improvement, but it was too little too late. The damage had already been done. So I just didn't give a monkeys about the album at all. And therein, I think, is the big problem with anything from Hardwired. And for the benefit of those watching this shite, maybe you can just clarify what the song title and the album it's from are.
That's Moth into Flame from the album Hardwired to Self-Destruct, which is 6 years old now, so it's not like it's a new album.
Yeah, fucking 6 years ago this thing came out. It's fucking hard to believe.
It is. I mean, regardless of what you think of the members of Metallica and that, a lot of the reasons they don't put that many albums out is because they tore their fucking asses off. I mean, and we've looked at a load of live videos recently. They can still do it live. All right, James Hetfield's voice ain't what it was, but you know, they really can. Oh, I think when they got Robert Trujillo in, I reckon he really gave him a kick up the arse because he's a fucking lunatic.
I don't really know too much about him other than he plays his bass at a weird fucking angle. Mind you, if you had your fucking bass guitar as low down as he does, yeah, you'd have to play it at a weird angle.
Well, I think at one point in his history, he was in another one of your favourite bands.
This doesn't bode well. Go on.
No, yeah, he was in Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, fucking
really
hell.
like you don't.
No, mind you, my problem with Suicidal Tendencies is Mike Muir singing. I just can't stand it, you know. Some of their music is actually all right. If they were kept as instrumentals, I wouldn't mind them so much.
You're a picky bastard, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Well, there we go.
I'll tell you now that before we go on, that wasn't originally in my top 10. That replaced. I'm gonna. It doesn't matter if I give one thing away, but that replaced Seek and Destroy, which was originally at number 10. So I mean,
what? That shit. Well, it's not that the song's shit. I'm just so sick to death of it. Yeah, okay, maybe, having this at number 10 ain't such a bad thing then. Anything but Seek and Destroy. I can't stomach the idea of listening to that song again.
Well, it was part because I do like the song, and also probably 75% just to get on your tits. But in the end, I knocked it off and put that in instead.
Oh yeah, because this song's great. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what a start. Yeah, let's just say I don't necessarily agree with that choice. I don't think that's going to come as any big surprise. Right, on to my number 10. And this one, this might give it away a bit, but for a while you thought this was going to be my number 1.
Oh.
Let's hear it.
That's a good choice.
So, No Remorse from Kill 'Em All. And originally I had Phantom Lord down here, so it was always going to be a song from Kill 'Em All. It was between those two. And I must have listened to those two songs about a dozen times in just one day. Trying to decide between which of them. It was pretty much a toss of a coin. And yeah, this one won out. I like the fact that they get the guitar solo out of the way by putting it in right at the start. But I mean, this just has a bit of everything. Starts off at I love the intro to this. It's a good mid-tempo intro, and for the bulk of the song, it is fairly mid-tempo. And then you get like the last couple of minutes, and it's like, no, let's just fucking go, balls to the wall for the ending. Yeah, it's just great from start to finish.
Yeah, I can't fault it, mate. It is a great song. And the reason I thought that was at your number one is I got his title mixed up with something else, and that's just me being a twat. So it wasn't that I thought you had that actual song at number one.
Well, when you said that, I thought, well, you're not a million miles away. I mean, it is in the 10, but
well, it looks like I was 9 miles away, to be honest.
yeah, which is, it's not a bad shout. I mean, you had what is it? You had about 33 songs to choose from, so yeah, it's not bad going.
No, I mean, I do like Kill 'Em All. I know James Hetfield's a bit screechy on Kill 'Em All, but I mean, when they made that, they were just angry, drunk teenagers. So that's why the music was so aggressive. And even though bands from Britain like Raven were a huge influence on thrash metal, Kill 'Em All is effectively the first mainstream thrash metal album.
Yeah, it introduced, I think, the vast majority of thrash fans into the genre. And it was one of the first thrash albums I heard. The very first is also by Metallica. I don't think that's going to surprise you in the slightest. I don't know anybody who listens to thrash, or did back in the day. They may not listen to it so much nowadays, but didn't think or didn't have like Metallica as like the first thrash band they listened to. It seems to be everybody's intro to thrash metal, and when you listen to, this is the thing that really got me when I was doing this list. Okay, yeah, I can constantly keep banging on about, Nothing Else Matters and Purify and all the shit that they've been releasing for the last 20 years. But when you listen to their first 4 albums, I mean, they were fucking great. And it's hard to believe, and it genuinely fucking annoys me that a band that can produce songs like No Remorse then started doing shit like Until It Sleeps, and then they released Saint Anger and say this is an album worthy of us. Oh fucking what? They used to be so good, and now they're just bollocks.
Well, I think they're all right again now, but I think the trouble with the Load and Reloads album in particular was at a time where metal was pretty much on its knees. Thrash had all but died out, apart from maybe Overkill, Testament, and even Testament went a bit lighter for a while. You had bands like Exodus, and a few of the old guards still doing it, but a lot of it weren't selling. And Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Soundgarden and all the Seattle grunge bands, where well, I don't mind Soundgarden, but won't worry about the rest. So, and with someone like Bob Rock producing their records, who is a commercial producer, he managed to convince them to stop playing thrash and to play alternative rock. And and that's where it went wrong. So of course, when they made St. Anger, as shit as it is, it was just them having the ump with making shit, and they just wanted to make a load of noise. I mean, they succeeded to make a load of noise. Sounds like Lars Ulrich was kicking the fuck out of a dustbin through the whole bleeding album. But me personally, that's where I think they went wrong. If you want to include a "What the fuck happened to Metallica" part in this video, but I blame Bob Rock.
Oh, I do totally. That was the conclusion I reached, and I hasten to add, it was a conclusion we both reached totally independently. But yeah, I do lay the blame squarely, at his feet. What a bad move! I mean, come on. The first 4 albums, Flemming Rasmussen produced it. They're fucking great. Why did they feel the need to change? Did they have like a fallout with him or something?
I have no idea. I think he had the ump with what they did with the mastering on and Justice for All. I've got a feeling. I'm pretty sure somewhere in my younger memories is him getting the ump from doing that, and him almost wanting his name taken off, and pretty much saying, "No, this album can be made by Alan Smithy." You know what I mean? It was that pissed off. So maybe that had something to do with it. Because I mean, when you listen to the mixing on particularly Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, as much as I love And Justice for All, I mean, the mix is awful. It's just awful in a good way.
Yeah. Ride the Lightning, production on that. I mean, if I was to do like a list of the 10 heaviest albums I've ever heard, Ride the Lightning would still absolutely be in there. It'd probably be in like the top 5. I mean, there are death metal bands, grindcore bands, industrial bands who could only dream of creating an album as heavy as Ride the Lightning, and they'll never do it. It was an album that was recorded in '84.
Well, I better repeat my story, hadn't I, from Carnaby Street, where I actually bought my copy of Ride the Lightning from Shades Records, and it used to be
great
in
record
St.
shop.
Court. And when I come out, we was outside looking at our records we bought. Like we bought a few each. And some bloke went, "Oh, Ride the Lightning." And I went, "Yeah, I've never heard it. Is it any good?" He went, "Well, it's good if you like Iron Maiden." And I thought, "Well, I love Iron Maiden. Thank you very much." And I got home and put it on, and I thought, "Same fucking Iron Maiden."
Well, they play guitars. Yeah, that's about as far as the similarities between Ride the Lightning and Iron Maiden goes.
Yeah, there's songs on it.
Well, there we go. So that is my number 10 anyway. No Remorse from Kill 'Em All. So, on to your number 9.
Oh, you are going to so fucking moan. In fact, it'd be alright for all you people watching this video. You're going to get the dubbed over versions. I've got to listen to him whine like a cunt now. Do you want my intro?
Go on then.
Talking of Bob Rock.
Reaching out for something you got to feel, while clutching to what you thought was real. Kicking at a dead horse pleases you, no way of showing your gratitude. So many things you don't want to do. What is and what have you got to lose? What the hell? What the hell? What is it you think you're gonna find? Hypocrite, hypocrite, boredom's a tin to the pouring mind. It's true to fight. Struggle with it. You're ruined. Struggle with it.
Okay. Would you care to explain to us how the fuck the struggle within gets to your number 9 spot?
Because I really like it. I mean, what do you want me to say? Look, apart from Bob Rock's Noodlings, that is the only song on Metallica or the Black Album, whatever you want to call it. That is the only song that to me sounds it was written by the same band that did And Justice for All, except you can hear the bass. That actually sounds like Metallica, that song to me. A lot of the rest of the album doesn't. We spoke the other day about Of Wolf and Man, which is an absolute bucket of shit.
Yeah, I detest that song. I hate that song more than I hate Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah, well, see, Nothing Else Matters, you know, the first few times I heard that, I thought, oh, James Hetfield's learning how to sing. That's nice, that's not terrible. 8,000 times later, when you work and they had radio, was it Virgin Radio on at the time, as it was called then, and they played that song once an hour, every hour for about 6 months, I got sick of it. But as with Enter Sandman, I mean, I can give that a bit more leeway these days, but I couldn't stand that for so long. But The Struggle Within is an album track that never gets played anywhere. And it's one that I liked. It was my favourite one the first time I listened to the album, and I still really like it now, and it makes my top 10 because I fucking like it.
Okay. The only song from the Black Album that I could put up with is The God That Failed, and that's purely because I can actually hear Newsted's bass in the intro. You know what's really bad is I've got to edit this thing, and your first two choices are from albums I don't have.
Well, I'm sure for the purposes of making videos, I can let you have 2 of the tracks.
Lucky me.
Cheer up, you miserable.
Fucking.
No, that is the best of a bad bunch as far as I'm concerned, and I genuinely really do like that song a lot. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on my list.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here we go. Struggle Within on your number 9. Oh, God dear. Well, I mean, your top 8's got to be an improvement. That's for sure.
I mean, just think yourself lucky, because when I was doing my list, the original list was like, well, to make it interesting, why don't I do my favourite song off of each album? And when I started trawling through Load and Reload, I thought, oh, fuck that shit.
Well, at least you stopped then. You didn't get as far as trying to find your favourite song on Saint Anger.
Well, that was never going to happen.
Yeah.
I own the CD. I've got the original of St Anger. It got played through once when I first listened to it, and it got played again when I ripped it to my computer when I was doing all my MP3s off my CDs years back. It's been played twice. It stayed in its box up on the shelf with the other CDs, never to be played again.
Yeah, that thing can just rot. Well, there we are. Yeah, Struggle Within. Oh dear. Let's move on to my number 9 then, shall we?
The thing is, you're going to get loads of comments from people saying, "Well, I like the Black Album." So.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, we could also get comments from people saying, "Actually, yeah, Load and Reload are really great. I'd have half their albums in my top 10, or half the songs of those 2 albums in my top 10." Oh, God. Anyway, let's go on to my number 9. This is an album title track. Away you go.
fine choice.
I mean, when we did the Justice album, sort of going through that, I used the word genius to describe this song, and I stand by it. It is fucking genius, this. It wasn't their first sort of foray into progressive thrash, but it's probably the most progressive song they did. I mean, I would say it's flawless, but I mean, I've only got it down at number 9. But I mean, it's just, it does everything right.
Yeah. I seem to remember, weren't that the outright winner of that video?
Yeah. Our combined scores, it came out at number 1. I got no problem with that. I mean, you may well remember it was very close to being my number 1, but yeah, it didn't quite get there. But it's just such a fucking good song. Yeah, I can't get enough of that one.
I can't remember. I had it at number 2 or number 3, I think.
You had it at 2. I had it at 3. I mean, yeah, we talked about it enough in that video, so it's a bit difficult to come out with something new to say about it. But yeah, it's just fucking great. Of all the album title tracks, yeah, I think this is the best one.
Yeah, it is a good. Well, it's the title track to what I consider to be their best album. So
yeah. So, well, there we go. My number 9. So, a bit of a short discussion on that one, but yeah, if you want to hear us go into more depth on that one, go and watch the And Justice for All album review that we did.
you could put a little YouTube card up, couldn't you? You won't, but you could do.
No, so I won't. 2 reasons. Firstly, I don't know how to, and secondly, I don't want to know how to. So. Yeah, if you want to hear it, go and fucking find it, you know. Right, on to your number 8, and I'm almost dreading this, you know. Okay.
Right, stop fucking moaning. Happy now?
That's much more like it. We heard nearly half the song there, I think.
Well, you know, I went for the 2 minutes. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hear a lot of people dismiss Trapped Under Ice as album filler. I couldn't agree less. I think it's a fucking great song. It's not in my 10, but yeah, I fucking love that song.
Oh, it's fucking great. I used to go to a club called Fagin's, which was at the back of the Fishmonger's Arms pub in Wood Green in North London when I was like, I don't know, late teens, early 20s. And the DJ in there, we used to get him to play that because it starts with a lead solo and it's so fast. It was like I used to have a mate called Wedgie, and that was like our warm-up song for a night of fucking headbanging and getting drunk. So that was like, as soon as we got in there, up, which one of us is going to go and tell him? Up to the DJ booth, put on Trapped Under Ice, mate. And it'd come on, and off we fucking went like a pair of loons. So yeah, that's not only do I really like that song, it's got a good nostalgic fix for me as well.
Yeah, all the more reason I like it, yeah. It's also... There are two songs on Ride the Lightning that everyone always sort of kind of dismisses as filler. This and Escape. And I find the two songs follow very similar structures. You got like, you know, the main riff, the bridge, the chorus, back to the riff, and then you get the break there where the song changes quite somewhat. We just got to it here when we stopped the clip. In this, it does sound fucking great. In Escape, that break part fucking ruins the song.
I would have to say that Escape is probably the weakest song on Lightning. It's not terrible, but it's not as good as the others, and it's got a very commercial sort of hooky lyric track to it as well.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it?
All kind of things to come.
I would have to agree. I don't think Escape is a bad song, but yeah, it probably is the weakest song on the album. And that break part in it fucking ruins it. It just sounds terrible. But hopefully Trapped Under Ice doesn't have that problem. I mean, that's great from start to finish.
I know you're not a particular fan of lead solos, but I am. So that was one of the first songs I'd ever heard that started with a lead solo. So hang on, they're supposed to do that after the second verse. What's going on? Fucking have it.
Well, I mean, I had no remorse there. I mean, it practically starts with the solo. So, yeah, continuing the trend there. Yeah, great choice there for your number 8. I got no complaints with that one.
I don't care if you've got any fucking complaints anyway.
Well, let's play. I mean, it's taken up until your number 8 for you to have actually chosen a song that I do have no complaints about. Well, those first two. Right, anyway, while we're on the subject of complaints, we get to my number 8, and I don't think you're going to agree with this at all.
Well, we'll see, because you never can tell with me. Look at my number 9 and number 10. So.
Yeah, it's true. I'm not sure quite how to describe it. Let's just press play. Yeah, let's just say this is from an album that up until now hasn't been represented yet. Off you go.
Now that is a fucking cracking song. I'm surprised that's on your list, and I'm surprised that's on your list for one reason in particular. That song always reminds me of Harvester of Sorrow because it's the same sort of tempo, it's the same sort of progression. So, while I think it's a brilliant song, I'm really surprised you've picked it.
It's a slightly faster tempo than Harvester of Sorrow. And the tempo difference is enough to lift it. The thing with Master of Puppets is it's a very technical album, and Leopard Messiah is sort of a break from all the technical stuff into a great, simple, just sort of like, you know, pounding along a fucking metal song. I think that's one of the reasons why it really stands out for me, because it stands out from the rest of the album because of its simplicity, which you know, may not make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but that certainly is the case for with me. It's the kind of subject matter that metal really likes dealing with, isn't it? The old, you know, television evangelists and all that. Well, it's a bit more hard hitting than when Anthrax tackled the subject with "Make Me Laugh."
Yeah, a bit more hard hitting than when Genesis done it with "Jesus He Knows Me." But
yes. I must admit that's not one that instantly sprang to mind. Yeah, I think it's a great one, and despite its simplicity, you listen to the bass there, and Cliff Burton is doing what he absolutely excelled at. He was not one of those bass players that just copied what the rhythm guitarist or the lead guitarist was doing. He was off doing his own thing, totally separate, totally different bass line, but it always fitted the song perfectly. And there are very, very few bass players, especially in metal, that do that. Most of the time, as much as I'm a fan of Jason Newsted, he is guilty of this. They will just do what just play what the rhythm guitarist is playing.
I can only think of two other bassists off the top of my head quickly that can actually do that. One of them's Steve Harris, the other one's Geddy Lee.
Yeah. Chris Squire from Yes. Well, I mean, it's quite different music, but yeah, he was another one. But yeah, there aren't many of them. I wish there were more. Although being able to play bass as well as Cliff Burton, that's a tall order.
It's a very tall order. I mean, you listen to some of Metallica's live stuff now. I mean, Rob Trujillo gives it his best shot. I think he's better at playing Cliff Burton bass than Jason Newsted was, if I can say his name right. Jason Newsted was, but that's live. On albums and that, he's pretty much the same as. I think I don't know if that's down to the way they do stuff. It's like play what we play, we're turning your bass down.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I remember an interview with James Hetfield, and I think Metallica got a bit spoiled with Burton's bass playing, because when Newsted came along, and of course he was doing the thing, playing the bass and just copying the rhythm guitar. And Hetfield admitted he used to get really annoyed by it. He keeps saying, fucking play something different. Don't just copy me. And it's like, well, hang on, that's what a lot of bass players do, I mean, Burton didn't, but he was the exception, But even in a song as simple as this, Burton's bass playing just takes it to another level.
I think the other thing with Cliff Burton is when you look at him, and you look at like thrash metal in general, Cliff Burton looked like he'd gone through a time warp and just stepped off a bus from Woodstock.
Yeah.
He had a certain look about him. He was very 1970s in the way he looked.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the only giveaway he was up to date, or relatively up to date, was the Misfits t-shirt he was always wearing.
Misfits t-shirt and double denim. I mean, that was Burton Lure T, that wasn't it? You know.
Yeah.
There you go. That was my number 8. Then Left of a Slayer from the Master of Puppets album. So we go on to your number 7.
My number 7. Well, we'll stick with the same album, but I can guarantee you we won't get to the good bit. The trouble with that song is the second half of it is such a good thrash riff, but the only way I was going to get to play that is either play some more now and really fuck you about with the editing, which I'm not going to do, or have it at number 1 so I can play it all the way through, which was never going to happen. So, but you know, you talk about the first 4 Metallica albums being the only 4 and the best 4 and all this sort of stuff. 3 of those albums had a song like that on.
What's the one from And Justice for All?
1.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, fucking door.
So, of the 4 albums that you've pulled from, 3 of them albums have got a song like that on. So they must be doing something right with them.
One. Yeah, for me, it's all about the second half. I really fucking hate this song because as good as the second half is, you've got to get through all this shit. I fucking hate the first part of this song.
So do you want to go back in time? I'll just play the second half.
So yeah, I mean that's the problem with playing like the extracts that we're doing is you've got all the shit bit of it. I mean once it gets going, yeah, it's good, but it's not good enough to make up for all this guff at the start. I actually quite like the guff at the start. I like the subject matter because it for me it evokes One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and stuff like that. So. That's the way I've always looked at this song. I've always thought of it as like, you know, the musical version of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest because that starts slow and then all shit and all hell breaks loose. So Yeah, I'm not a fan. I knew this song was going to appear on your list. I knew you were quite a fan of it. The only surprise is that it's actually as low as number 7. I thought you'd have it higher up than this, but I'm kind of glad that we got this over and done with and out of the way. Yeah, this was never going to go anywhere near my 10.
Well, I knew that, and I knew you'd fucking moan about it. But you know, that's the joy of these videos, isn't it? We all come from different angles. So
Yeah, exactly. You know, I've still got well, at least one to come that's going to have you thinking, you know, fucking what is this doing in here? So you know, yeah. Let's just say I don't agree. Yeah, Welcome Home Sanitarium at number 7. Yeah.
that's why it's on my list and not yours.
Yeah. Okay. We go on to my number 7, and well, speaking of not agreeing, yeah, you're not going to agree with this one. Let's hear it.
Someone had to pick a filler track, didn't they?
Of all the songs, when we did the And Justice video, I mean, this really does illustrate how, you know, the personal taste can vary. Because I mean, you had this Stone Dead last, and I think it was one of the first songs you put on your list. Yeah, this is definitely number 9, and for me, it was very nearly number 1. So you know, it's. It clearly is one of those songs that polarises opinion, but I fucking love this song. The weird thing is, I can't put my finger on what it is about it that I really like. I know you certainly can't.
Well, I don't hate the song. I'd go as far to say as I love it as well. I just love all the others on the album a bit more than that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember from for when we did the video, you were saying there is no song on the album that you hate. It's just when you're putting them in an order from your favourite to your least favourite. This is Stone Dead last, just because of how good the other 8 songs are, rather than how shit this one is. I'll tell you one thing that I do like about it. In the Justice video, I was saying that one of the things I really like about this is the tempo change when you go from the verse to the chorus. In fact, if you listen to it, it's the same tempo all the way through. But because of the way the guitars are played in the chorus, it's so different to that sort of like almost like a gallop during the verse and that. It actually sounds like it is being played at a different tempo, but it isn't. It's the same one all the way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it is a good track. Well, I don't know if you was expecting me to jump up and down about it. It just happens to be my least favourite one on Justice. But then Justice for All is my favourite Metallica album. So
yeah, I mean, even though I know you certainly don't agree about this being top 10 material, there's nothing on my list I think that would have you saying, how the fuck could this be in your top 10? Whereas so far, all but one of yours has had me saying that.
well, yeah, but that's the thing. It's my top 10, so I get to choose what's on it.
I'll tell you what, I am really surprised we haven't had any duplicates yet. I can only imagine they're all still to come. I know there are going to be some. I have no doubt at all.
Yeah, it's possible.
Well, there we go. My number 7, Eye of the Beholder from And Justice for All. As I said, when I had the And Justice for All song itself, we go into that in some depth in the Justice video. So, yeah, go and watch that. Well, finish watching this first, then bugger off and watch that.
Well, you was talking about duplicates.
Yeah.
I can guarantee this ain't one of them. Now that is the closing track, barring the bonus disc, on Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Hardwired, yeah.
Now, that album, the first disc has got Moth into Flame, the title track, and the other single, and a lot of the faster stuff on it. And the second disc has got some more slow stuff. There's a really good song called Murder One, which is a tribute to Lemmy, which is really nicely written lyrics and that. And then it's a lot slower, and a lot of people complained about this too. And so I read the reviews. I didn't read them too closely. I thought, all right, well, this too is going to be a bit of a slow one. And I was listening to it, and I thought, oh, people are right, this ain't bad. Then that started at the end. I nearly shat myself. It's like, Metallica are still here somewhere.
Yeah, I have to say that by modern Metallica standards, that song is fucking fantastic. For me, it's not a patch on their 80s stuff, but it's still a million times better than, you know, the crap they were churning out in the 90s and for most of the 2000s. So it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, no, I mean that's. I mean, I've got that at number 6 on my list. That's how much I like that song. I was like, you know, when that started playing, you know, I almost got check the calendar and make sure it weren't 1986 because it's like, what the fuck? I was not expecting that at all because, like I say, the only reviews I saw of this album was disc 1 is faster than disc 2. It's got all the slow stuff on it. Blah 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 moan. That come out of nowhere and totally hit me in the side of the bonce.
Well, if this is on disc 2, which is all the slower stuff, then what? Does disc 1 sort of sound like Metallica play Napalm Death or something? You know, fucking hell. I might have to get that album after all.
I mean, the other 5 tracks that are on disc 2 are slower. I mean, I still think they're good. You know, you compare it to, like you say, the shit they put out in the 90s and early 2000s. It pisses all over that from a great height. I mean, I don't know if Bob Rock was involved with this album. If he was, then
no, I don't think he was. Yeah, I think the last album Bob Rock was involved with was Saint Anger. Can't imagine why they'd get rid of him after that.
Well, I was going to say, if he was there for that one, he was fucking gaffer taped and tied to a chair.
Yeah, it's about all he's fucking good for, isn't it? Yeah, so spit out the bone. I mean, yeah, it's not one of my favourites, but yeah, by modern Metallica standards, it's fucking good. But it's not 80s Metallica though.
I'll tell you what, it ain't far off it.
It's not. The only thing that I wasn't too keen on is the very sort of like stop-start nature of the intro. I mean, it's better than the intro to Shortest Straw, you know, the old fucking outboard motor jobby. But yeah, I could do without all that stop-start bit, you know. Get the intro done and then go into the song, you know.
Well, there's a lot of thrash bands do the old stop-start metal.
Yeah, that's true.
There is a lot of that. But yeah, that's my number 6 anyway.
Yeah, it wouldn't be one of my videos without a unscheduled Kazi break with it. So we're on to my number 6. Well, I can say one word and it will give it away. Instrumental. Play it.
really didn't want to stop that one.
Now, for me, this is Cliff Burton's masterpiece. I'm pretty sure he wrote all three of their sort of epic instrumentals, and this one, it's a real Burton bass playing, just extravaganza. I mean, he's all over the place throughout this, and I mean that in a good way. I'll say at no point. Yeah, there are occasions where he is playing the rhythm guitar part, but for so much of it, he's just off doing his own thing. He really is treating his bass guitar as like a third lead guitar throughout this thing. It's just fucking amazing, this song.
Oh, the weird bass whine through the beginning like that. I mean, it's it's almost like a bloody Sid chip. That Harry gets his bass to do that pitch all the way through.
It's not like this runs away with it as far as being the best Metallica instrumental for me. It is quite close between this and To Live Is To Die. And even though I don't think Call of Cthulhu is up there with those two, it's still a fucking great instrumental.
I can't choose between them. It changes. I mean, when we first started talking about music, I was like, yeah, it's Call of Cthulhu, and then I was going on about To Live Is To Die a lot, and it was To Live Is To Die earlier on. But having just listened to that there at the moment, my favourite Metallica instrumental is Orion.
It's Orion. That's it. I mean, it is like really close between pretty much between all three. But I think Orion does win out every time. But yeah, it's close. I knew I was going to have an instrumental on here, and I have a sneaking feeling this isn't the only instrumental that's going to be played. I just think this was Burton at his absolute best. Of course, the real shame is he never played this song live. Never got the chance to.
No, the other thing about it is whenever I hear the lead section, the slow bit in the middle of this, obviously I always think of the Cliff and Moore video because they played a lot of that on there, and it's fucking hell.
During the end sequence when they're showing all the photos of him, they're playing the 6/8 section, which it came completely out of the blue when I first heard this. He goes, very, very typical Master of Puppets stuff. And then it sort of like stops, and then he's off on his bass again with very intricate bass line. And then you get that, I can't even describe how it sounds, but it just sounds like nothing else on the album. And I was like, fucking, where did this come from? But it fucking sounds great.
Yeah, it does. It's just it's James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett just in totally fixed together playing the same thing. I mean, I'd like to think it didn't take more than one take in the studio to get that right, but they nailed it however they did it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, we go. My number 6, Orion from Master of Puppets. Yeah, my favourite Metallica instrumental.
Yeah,
always will be.
Can't fault it. It's my favourite one today.
Right, on to your number 5.
Now, this is a title track, and I'm probably not going to play much of it, but the difference is if I've done the right file, this one's got bass on it. There you go. That'll do, because we've had that one already.
Yeah.
But I only ever listen now. When I listen to and Justice for All now, because you can't hear Jason Newsted, it doesn't matter if you have a version where someone else has redone the bass from the tabs, and that's the one I listen to now. It's not the And Justice for Jason. It's that I don't know. He looked like I don't know, a Mexican guy or something playing it on YouTube, and I kind of downloaded it and I listen to that version now because it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think the Injustice for Jason version, I think they've overdone the bass. They've made it too loud. So, if anything, it spoils it. I'd rather listen to the original recording than the Injustice for Jason version. That one, it wasn't so overpowering, so it sounds like one that I'd have to listen to all the way through. I mean, I don't need many excuses to want to listen to And Justice for All the way through, but there we go. I've got another reason to do it again here.
I'll say, if you need to find one, there you go. It's really good. I'll say the only thing that's missing from the version that guy done, the transition from I to be older into one, he cut a lot of the move and machine guns out of it, so you know, I can live without that.
Yeah, I'll live without that. That's not such a problem.
Yeah, so my number 5's a really short one because it was, what was your number 9?
Yeah, it was my number 9, yeah. So, And Justice for All making another appearance, but a very welcome one. So, alright, well, my number 5, one word, classic.
Well, I couldn't cut off the bush of fire line.
What a fucking monumental song that is.
I can't believe it's that far down your list.
Well, when I was doing my list, this was one I thought, right, this is definitely duplicated. I mean, it may be higher up than yours. Well, obviously, if it is duplicated, it will be higher up. But you cannot have a top 10 Metallica and not have Creeping Death turn up somewhere.
Oh, can't you? Oh.
Don't tell me it's not on your list.
Well, it's not as good as The Struggle Within, is it?
Fucking yeah, right. I mean, this song does pretty much dominate. Well, for me anyway, it really does dominate the Ride the Lightning album. I think one of the main reasons it does is that fucking intro. I mean, it is such an epic introduction to this song. And the intro promises much, and it delivers it all. You know.
Yeah, this is another song, and I think really Hollywood and movies, films, whatever you want to call them, are to blame. There's a couple of guitar breaks in this, and Metallica do, and it was in the same year as what Iron Maiden did with Power Slave. There's a couple of guitar licks that just reek of ancient Egypt, and I think that's down to Hollywood movies and the way they've played. You know how Hollywood movies have also, you know, there's that Native American Indian sound when they've in old westerns and that they've managed to do that, and like Maiden, Metallica absolutely captured it in parts of this song.
I mean, in Power Slave, absolutely. You know, you hear bits of that, and it just instantly you're thinking ancient Egypt and pyramids and all that. To be honest, I don't get that with this. I just get this fucking incredibly heavy song. This is another one where, you know, plenty of death metal bands could only dream of recording something like this. I don't really get any of the sort of like Egyptology stuff from it, though.
Oh, well, I do.
Yeah. So yeah.
At the end of the guitar solo, in particular.
I don't get it. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, it's not there. It could just be me, you know. But whether it's there or not, it's still fucking great.
There's a bit as an instrumental break between the guitar solo and before he goes back to the main chorus riff that just does the same thing that Power Slave does for me when I hear it anyway. But yeah, what an absolute fucking classic.
Yeah, if a song, you know, has you thinking along the same lines that Power Slave does, it's fucking doing something right.
Oh yeah, fucking absolutely. It is a standout track from Ride the Lightning. I mean, I suppose really for me, Ride the Lightning is really, you know, the ones you think of is like Fight Fire with Fire, probably From the Bell Tolls and Creeping Death. You know, as the songs that, well, I suppose they're the ones they still play live and stuff like that. So they've stood the test of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. My number 5, Creeping Death from Ride the Lightning. Right, we're getting towards the business end now. On to your number 4.
We're certainly getting through them, aren't we?
Yeah, mind you, I mean, we've been going, well, nearly an hour and a half.
Right. Well, I'm quite happy to say we haven't had this one yet. I've missed off the 6-minute intro, so you don't complain about it. See, now that's another classic.
Yeah. I must admit, it didn't make it into my 10, but it's a fucking great song, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is one of two songs on the Kill 'Em All album, which, well, like we said when we did the thrash video, this really set out the standard for thrash metal. It's such a great song. And even though you say you left out the 6-minute intro, technically that's a different song. So there you go. You didn't leave anything out of it.
No, but they do kind of segue together quite well. There's no break in the recording the way they put it together on the album. I only said that for comedy purposes anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sorry that got left out, that bit.
I wish I'd have put that at number 1 there just to fuck you off.
Yeah, but I'm going to be editing this. I would have just left it out anyway.
Oh, the comments you'd have got. Just from me.
I tell you, I'm fucking amazed I didn't get any comments about that in the thrash video when I said, oh yeah, the bass solo is fucking boring. No one said anything.
Well,
Did get a couple of thumbs down though.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure I gave you a good enough reprimand while we was recording it. So.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, Whiplash was. It's one of those songs, like I say, it didn't make my 10, but I mean, if anyone claims to be a thrash fan or claims to be a metal fan and doesn't like Whiplash, then they're fucking talking bollocks. It's absolutely synonymous. A lot of the time, you think Metallica, and Whiplash is one of the first songs you think of. Yeah, even if even if you only sort of like, got into Metallica after the fucking Black album, it's just one of those songs. It's like when you think Iron Maiden, you think of Run to the Hills. With Metallica, well, certainly with me anyway, I think Metallica, I think Whiplash. It's become absolutely iconic.
Yeah, I think you'll find anyone that got into Metallica after the Black album played Whiplash, they'll be like, what the fuck is this? This isn't Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah, so it is hard to believe this is a song by the same band that did Nothing Else Matters. God damn.
See, the funny thing is, right, Nothing Else Matters, and we won't talk about it again after this, right? Nothing Else Matters got so much radio play, and it had a video that did a lot on MTV and stuff like that, that I'm pretty sure that would have sold the Black album. Like, I know it's got massive sales anyway, but I reckon there's a high percentage of that of people that heard Nothing Else Matters, and even though we don't think it's a particularly good album, you put on something Wherever I May Roam or even Enter Sandman, all compared to Nothing Else Matters, they are verging on thrash metal. If you just bought it on the strength of Nothing Else Matters, you'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Yeah, you're in for a bit of a shock there. And if they then went out and bought Ride the Lightning, fucking hell. Oh dear. Right, well there we are. Whiplash. Again, it wouldn't be a Metallica top 10 if that song didn't appear somewhere. And okay, it wasn't in mine, but yeah, I was quite confident it was going to appear in your one. Right, on to my number 4. Now, my number 5 had quite the epic introduction, and so does this. Let's hear it. what a fucking epic.
Oh yeah, that's a song that was almost ruined for me, that one. Because one time listening to it when we'd all been, I don't know, smoking some extraterrestrial lettuce or having a beer or whatever, right before James Hetfield shouted out "back to the front," one of my mates stood up and yelled at the top of his voice, "I've got my pants on." Back to the front, and of course, when you're a teenager and you're off your tits, stuff like that's hilarious, and it almost ruined that song for me. Almost, not quite, but
No, nothing could ruin that song for me. I mean, never mind the Four Horsemen. That's the gallop to end all gallops, I think, with where Metallica are concerned. It's just so it's just such a great song. This. It's a bit of a long old one. I know it's over 8 minutes, but it's one that flies by.
yeah,
It seems like it's only going for 3 or 4 minutes, and 8 minutes gone. It's nigh on flawless, I think. This.
I mean, it's that gallop on that. I mean, Steve Harris himself would be proud of that bass player. And I mean, anyone watching this, if you rewind it to when we're playing the song, and just concentrate on the bass, and you listen to Cliff Burton, it's like bum 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 bum. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. It's a masterclass in fast bass playing.
Yeah. He never used the plectrum, did he? He was always just using 2 fingers the whole time. I mean, he really did take bass playing to just a totally different level, that bloke.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just, ain't that the first? That's the first track on side 2 if you got it on vinyl, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a way to start side 2 off.
Yeah. It's. I mean, both sides start off, with quite the epics. I mean, you got Battery to start the album, go on to side 2, and you have this. Yeah, there's no let up with this thing.
No, I mean the whole album's like it. I know you pick out Sanitarium or Welcome Home as a dim. Even the second half of that still belts along. You literally got 3 minutes of breathing time on this album. That's it.
Yeah, that is it. That first half of Welcome Home Sanitarium is the only part of the album that I can say, I don't like it. The rest of the album's just fucking great.
Yeah, I've got no complaints. I mean, I do think Master of Puppets is Metallica's best album. It's not my favourite album, but I think it's probably the best album. And had the accident not happened in '86 and they lost Cliff Burton, I think Justice may have had the same songs on it, but the sound, we'd still be talking about how good the sound was without, they fucked it up, but we like it anyway.
Well, one thing's for sure, you would have heard the bass in it. I think I'd have to agree. It's not my favourite album, but when you consider how good the songs are, when you consider the production in it, it's you got to say Master of Puppets was their best album. Do you know the story of how the drum sound came about?
No, I don't.
Well, the snare that Lars is using in this, it wasn't originally his. It originally belonged to someone else.
All right.
Rick Allen.
Allen?
It's the same snare that Def Leppard used in, I forget what album it was.
Would have probably been Pyromania, I would have thought.
I think it might have been. And
to be fair, Rick Allen probably didn't need it.
Well, see, right, he'd had his accident, he'd lost his arm, and Lars Ulrich wrote to him while he was in hospital, and he was basically saying, look, can I use this snare for our next album? And apparently Rick Allen wrote back saying, oh yeah, I'd be honoured, and let him have it. But you think about it, I mean, it could have come across really cuntish. It's like, well, you're not going to need this anymore, any chance I can have it, Fucking hell. That was...
I mean, I am. Seeing as you've gone into the tangent, I am not the biggest Def Leppard fan by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But considering the way they set it up and didn't just fire him, I mean, Rick Allen's a fucking terrific drummer. I know he uses his feet and he's got a lot of electronics, but to still be able to drum with one arm and his bandmates not abandon him and say tough shit, mate. That's a strong band, whether you like their music or not. Nice blokes, obviously. Anyway, moving back to Metallica.
yeah. Let's move on to music that's worth listening to. Well, there we go. That's my number 4. Disposable Heroes from Master of Puppets. Fucking epic song. Fucking love that song.
Oh, yeah, I can't fault it, mate. Right, my number 3.
Yep.
Now, the thing is, Master of Puppets has had a good showing tonight.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
I mean, it opens side 2 with a banger, but fuck me, does it finish it with a banger as well?
What a great song that is. This nearly ended up in my 10. It lost out to No Remorse, but it's a fucking great song, Damage Incorporated. And it's a song that doesn't get anything like the recognition it deserves. I think it seems to have almost become like somewhat forgotten.
Oh, I don't know if they still play it live, but I mean, for me, like you were saying with Whiplash, I mean, I am surprised it's not on your list, but it's one that deserves its place on a Metallica top 10. I mean, it's absolutely fucking blistering the speed of that song.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, so don't hold me to it. But I think this is the fastest song they did.
It could well be.
And it has one of the weirdest introductions I've ever heard in any song in metal. And would it surprise you to hear that it was Cliff Burton who came up with that idea?
Not in the slightest. I mean, I was thinking when that was playing, then I've said, oh yeah, it starts with a banger, and Master of Puppets ends with one. I thought, hang on a minute. As I press play, I thought, and we've got 30 seconds of Wales song now.
Yeah, Metallica go new age. Yeah. I mean, it is a weird old intro, but I do like it. It's well done. So yeah, I got no problem with the intro. I know plenty of people always say how the intro's all poncy and all that, and there's all this bollocks about, oh yeah, it was them recording something and played it backwards. No, they didn't. You play that intro backwards, it sounds even more fucked up than when you're playing it the regular way.
As far as I know, the only backwards thing Metallica did was on Blackened.
Yeah, the intro of Blackened, yeah. Something else that I always liked about Damage Incorporated, when Master of Puppets came out, they had this sticker on the front of the album, and it was sort of taking the piss out of the PMRC. And it said on there, the only song you probably won't want to hear is Damage Incorporated because of its multiple use of the F word. Otherwise, there are no more. Otherwise, there are no fucks, cunts, shits, cocksuckers, or motherfuckers anywhere on this album. Yeah, that's marketing.
Yeah. Well, I'd buy it on the strength for that.
Oh yeah, that is a great one. That and criminally overlooked. It deserves far more attention than it gets. I got no complaints at all about that one appearing in the list.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Otherwise, if you'd have said that one was shit, I'll tell you now, I would have jogged to Essex to put a size 9 right up your plus scores.
Yeah. It would have been totally deserved as well. Yeah, that was never going to happen. Yeah, good choice there. Yeah, Damage Incorporated at number 3. Now, my number 3 is very different. Let's hear it.
The other filler track off of Justice for All.
Oh, fucking listen to it.
It's a good song. It is a good song.
A fucking epic song. it's if we're going through the most technical songs that Metallica ever did, well, this and Justice for All, Master of Puppets, you know, they've got to be the top three. I mean, you know, time changes galore, riff changes galore. I mean, it's all over the place. When you think about it, it is a bit of a mess, but it fucking works so well. Again, we went through all this when we did the Justice video. Yeah, I mean, I just love this song.
The only thing I still don't understand about this song, I didn't understand it when we did the Justice video, I didn't understand it when the album came out, is why on earth the song starts with the chant from the march of the Yellow Winkies from the Wizard of Oz. I still have no idea why it's on it. I mean, it sounds great, but I still don't know why they've done that, because it's not about the Wizard of Oz. Or the
no, and yeah, it's the intro does kind of stand out a bit. I mean, I think that's the worst part of the song. You know, it could do without it, if you ask me. But you know, because after that intro, you never get anything that sounds like that again throughout the whole of you know, the rest of the song. I mean, the song is nigh on 8 minutes long, but that bit just right. Okay, that's done. Right, we'll never hear that again. You know. So yeah, why they decided to put that in the intro, I'll never know. But it's still a better intro than the one for Shortest Straw. So you know, it's got that going for it.
I'd imagine they put it in to take the piss. I mean, when Metallica were in the 80s, before the big-headedness of Lars started, you know, this is a band that used to take their fans. Well, I'm sure I told you before, there was a story of two fans that were hanging about outside somewhere like Hammersmith Odeon for signatures, and there's like they signed their stuff, said, "Oh, come on, we go and get pizza." They took these two blokes out and like filled them full of pizza, and you know, had a good laugh. But not sure they'd do that now.
No, somehow I doubt they would do that now.
James Hetfield might, but
don't know. His private jet will be waiting for him, won't it? You know.
Yeah, he probably won't have any beer either.
No, he certainly won't now. He's fucking. He's got really boring now that he's fucking sobered up, hasn't he?
Well, you know, become boring or die. I mean, there's a way up to be made there.
Yeah. I suppose when you put it like that, yeah. Well, there we go. Yeah, so my number 3, Frayed Ends of Sanity. There was never any doubt that song was going to appear on my list. Okay, now, is this where you're going to play The Memory Remains?
No, I'm going to play Frantic off of St. Anger.
Oh, there you go, right, yeah, much better.
Or I could just play a classic, Take Two. So there you go. Creeping Death also appears on my list as well. In a rightful position at the top end of the table.
Well, mine was, it was halfway at number 5, you know. You know, I mean, yeah, being in the top 5, you couldn't really put Creeping Death anywhere else. You know, it is without doubt one of their greatest songs. You know.
Yeah,
so,
and I'm well aware that if it hadn't have been in my list, I never would have heard the end of it. But that's not why I put it there. I put it at number 2 because I think it's that fucking good.
Yeah. I reckon. Okay, yeah, I'll put mine at 5, but yeah, I had no complaints about it being at number 2. It's earned its place as you know, one of Metallica's greatest ever songs, and I don't think there is a single Metallica fan who would not have Creeping Death in their top 10.
No,
put it this way: if there is, then well, I don't want to know. For the sort of person who would have, like, you know, loads of stuff from the Black Album, load and reload in there, you know.
Yeah, basically that. Fuck off.
Yeah. There we go. So your number 2, a bit of a quickie, but yeah, only because we'd already gone through it. All right, on to my number 2, and it needs no introduction, which is just as well because it doesn't have much of an introduction. Off you go.
Thunder and lightning, the gossip rebel, senseless destruction. Kingdoms of fury are cowardly now, running for safety. Stabbing the harlot to pay for her sins, leaving the burden. Suicide running as if it were free, ripping and tearing. Oh, through the mist of the madness, we're trying to get the message to you.
I will never tire of hearing that song. What a fucking great song that is.
Oh, I thought that was going to be your number 1, to be honest. So I've got an inkling of what your number 1 is now, and I thought that would have been your number 2. I thought I was just about to play it, but I'll tell you if I was right in a minute, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's close between my number 1 and my number 2, but yeah, this just misses out. But it's just such a great song. Okay, we went through it when we did the thrash video, but this really did set the standard by which all other thrash bands would be judged, and a lot of them just failed to come anywhere near this.
Yeah, and to think when Ride the Lightning, when Kill 'Em All come out, a lot of the metal press and rock posts wrote it off as a load of little did they know.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't have got it more wrong. But, well, yeah. Yeah, if you want to hear us go into more detail on Metal Militia, then, yeah, check out the thrash video that we did. All 6 fucking hours of it. So, yeah, my number 2, yeah, Metal Militia from Kill 'Em All. Now, with our number 1s, we decided that we were going to play the whole song, and yeah, I have no reason whatsoever to change my mind about that. I'm pretty sure I know what you've chosen, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure not you've chosen as well. Now everything else is out of the way, but we'll see.
Okay, right. So hit us with it then. Your well, Dizer, isn't it?
Well, I was originally gonna fuck about with the MP3s and just mix the intro to Nothing Else Matters in at the beginning just for a laugh.
Oh,
But no.
No.
No, you're right. You ready?
I'm always ready for this song.
Have it.
Dear mother, dear father, what is this hell you have put me through? Believer, deceiver, day in, day out, live my life through you. Push down on me what's wrong or right, hidden from this thing that they call life. Dear mother, dear father, every thought I think you disapprove. You're a dictator, always censoring my every move. Children see that I'm not heard, tear out everything, inspire.
What a fucking song.
Yeah, I mean, when we did the Justice video, when you described this as the greatest song Metallica ever recorded, it did sort of give me a bit of a hint that this would be number one in this list. But I mean, even though I only had it at number 6 when we did the Justice video, it's like I said at the time when we were recording that. Just like you had with the Shortest Straw, I don't think the production quite works, but that's the only flaw I can find in it. I mean, come on, it's a fucking great song.
I mean, that version had the added bass as well. So.
Yeah. Which certainly helped. So I'm not sure the drum sound quite works for an all, out and out, speed fest like that. I mean, obviously you don't agree because otherwise it wouldn't be your number one. But I mean, it's very sort of like slight flaws that I'm finding here. I'm picking holes, but I mean, it is a great song. There is no two ways about it.
The one takeaway from that song really is that Christmases were probably shit in the Hetfield household.
Yes, Happy Families. It certainly wasn't, was it? Yeah.
No, not if that's anything to go by. No. But it's like if my kids wrote a song like that, I think I'd be in bits. I mean, where did I go wrong? But
yeah. Yes, well, I suppose if you are going to write a song that's, all about how much you hate your mum and dad, then, at least give it, the sort of like aggressive and fast-paced treatment. So, something good came out of it, though, because we ended up with this. So,
well done,
it was worth it.
Hetfield.
Yeah. We have to thank them for it,
Yeah, they'll laugh about that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they have been since 1988, haven't they? So yeah, not entirely unexpected, but I mean, there's no real complaints. Dyer's even number one there.
Well, I mean, it's only going to be unexpected if someone watches this video that hasn't watched the others first, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I suppose there is that, but.
In which case, why haven't you fucking watched the others?
yeah, where the fucking hell have you been? Right, so we're going to be number one, and your prediction is?
Fight fire with fire.
Well, let's play it and find out. What a fucking song. The first Metallica song I ever heard. And yeah, at the time, I was listening to Iron Maiden, Halloween. As much as I hate to admit it, I did have Guns N' Roses. And then I bought Ride the Lightning, and yeah, was running with that. And difficult admission time. When I first heard it, I hated it. I thought, oh, this is fucking awful. Carried on listening to the album, and by the time I got to the end of Call of Cthulhu, the last song, I was like, no, I want to listen to Fight Fire with Fire again. So even though I didn't like it when I first heard it, it took that long for it to grow on me, and yeah, I just put it straight back on again. It's like, fucking, yeah, okay, yeah, this is the stuff, yeah.
Right, the first, I'm trying to think what the first Metallica song was I heard. It was, I'm assuming it was Battery, because I'm sure I heard Master of Puppets first. Which is a very similar song to that, anyway.
Yeah, even with the intro. The intro to this will surprise you. It was Cliff Burton who came up with the intro to this one. Yeah, he was a huge fan of orchestral music, and the intro to this is actually based on a Baroque classical guitar piece. One of the minuets. There's 1,000,001 fucking classical guitars that are minuets. But if you hear it, oh yeah, you can hear straight away where Burton got the influence from. So yeah, that's how that intro came along. I wouldn't be remotely surprised if exactly the same thing happened with Battery.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. But yeah, no, that's a solid tune. I mean, if we'd have had a top 12, then that would have been in my list as well.
So he was just outside it, eh? I must admit, I am quite surprised that it didn't make it into your 10. But then, you know, I didn't have Damage Incorporated in mind, and you seem to be fairly certain that I would have done. But you notice both of us, our number ones were out and out fucking speedfests, and in our top 3, 2 of them were out and out speedfests. I mean, you can tell, you know, it's thrash fans who came up with these top 10s. But yeah, and this is going back to what I was saying at the start. It's so frustrating because you listen to these songs, you know, Fight Fire with Fire, Dyer's Eve, Damage Incorporated, Metal Militia, all fucking fantastic songs, and you think, you know, what the fuck went wrong? You know, this is the band that's capable of recording stuff like this, and yet they choose to record albums like Saint Anger and Reload and Lone. Fucking what? It does infuriate me, because I still believe they are capable of doing songs like this. Well, when you played Spit Out the Bone earlier, yes, they are capable of doing stuff like this still. Why don't they?
Well, they only they can know that, because obviously they still want to do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Because I mean, the title track to Hardwired is quite a fast-paced, like speed metal song as well. So I don't know. And as we've seen this week with videos we've been sharing, they can still play like that live.
Yeah, mind you, that video I shared with you of them doing No Remorse live, that was a fucking abomination, that one.
Yeah, that wasn't very good at all. Although I'm assuming that was down to the mixing desk rather than them themselves that time.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, it
so
somewhere. I blame Bob Rock still.
Yeah, he's definitely the one I blame. So there we are. Yeah, just for those watching then, if you can go through your 10 again and give us what they were from 10 to 1.
At number 10, I had Moth into Flame. At number 9, I had The Struggle Within. At 8 was Trapped Under Ice. 7 was Welcome Home, Sanitarium. 6 was Spit Out the Bone. 5, And Justice for All. 4, Whiplash. 3, Damage Incorporated. 2, Creeping Death. And number 1 was Dyer's Eve.
Well, mine at 10, No Remorse. At 9, And Justice for All. 8, Leper Messiah. 7, Eye of the Beholder. 6, Orion. 5, Creeping Death. 4, Disposable Heroes. 3, Frayed Ends of Sanity. 2, Metal Militia. And at number 1, Fight Fire with Fire. I mean, despite the fact that there were 2 or 3 of yours that I really do strongly disagree with, certainly once we get into the top 5, I mean, it's fucking great choices all round.
Yeah, and that's it. And like we always say when we do these, everyone's list is their own outlook on it.
Yeah, that is the thing I like most about doing these vids, is that, well, for one thing, you don't change your mind just because, you're not going to sit there and think, oh, hang on, he's not going to like that, right, I'll change it and put in something else, you stick to your guns, and you've got, and you'll actually give your reasons as to why you do like this, and then give your reasons why you don't like, the other songs. It does fucking annoy me when people do that, oh, I changed my opinion because I don't want to offend him or something. Oh, fuck off. Yeah. And that's why I think these videos, go so well, and why they are going to be carrying on for quite some time, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
So there we go. Any notable ones that were close to being included but didn't quite make it? For me, the obvious one would be Battery. It was close to getting there, but it didn't quite have the guts for me.
Yeah, Battery for me as well. Fight Fire with Fire. Even though you hate it, Seek and Destroy, because if you take away the amount of times you've heard it, it's still a good thrash song.
I mean that is the thing with that. I can't deny, that it is a good song. I'm just so sick of it. That's the only problem with it, Phantom Lord for another great one from Kill 'Em All. I'll tell you one thing, I am really surprised you didn't have any instrumentals in yours. I was really expecting to hear Call of Cthulhu on your list.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the instrumentals. Well, I kind of made my list and then I jostled it around a bit, and I just didn't put any instrumentals on there, which is strange because I love them.
Yeah,
it is weird. Also, another honourable mention that almost made the list was Blackened, but because I really like that song as well.
It's not my favourite on And Justice for All. Well, obviously, I mean, I had 3 songs from And Justice for All, and it didn't appear. That was never really in contention for a top 10 for me. I think all of my picks were relatively set. I say could have had Phantom Lord, could have had Damage Incorporated, could have had Battery, all there at number 10. So I ended up going with No Remorse. Yeah, I'm happy with the 10 I went with. The ones that missed out, those ones I just mentioned that missed out. I mean, they are all fucking great songs. Yeah, not quite into me 10 though.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why Moth into Flame and The Struggle Within would be sort of like you put them on there ahead of this, that, and the other. But obviously this is a list that could, apart from number 1, this could change next week. If we was doing this next week and started another list from scratch, I reckon a good 6 of the songs would still be on there. The apart from Dyer's Eve, the order might change around a bit, and there might only be songs off the first 4 albums on there. I don't know, but that's where I was when I was listening to all the albums. And I did try. I did try to see if there was anything on Load and Reload that would make it into the top 10.
Yeah, I remember you saying in the messenger you were going to try and see, if there was one song from each album. I was just sitting there thinking, fuck, we're really going to have to listen to something from Load. I mean, if you were going to have to include one from each album, then what would you include from Load?
I would probably include Until It Sleeps, and it's not the best one on there, but it's the one I know best because I've hardly listened to them albums. And Reload would probably be The Memory Remains because I do like the riff in that song. It's not good enough to make even the top 30, but I gave them a listen through, but they're just bland alternative rock albums. They're not befitting of the Spanish word for metal for a start.
No, I'm not even sure I would even consider them as alternative. I just think they're bland, radio-friendly metal. It's no, not for me at all.
Yes, and Anger and Lulu were never in consideration.
I was just going to say, right, so if you're going to have to include one from each album, is the real difficult choice. Which one from Saint Anger would you pick as the best song on there? And bearing in mind, choosing the best song on Saint Anger is like saying, what's the best venereal disease,
I would probably go for Frantic, because I'm pretty sure that's the shortest one on there.
Yeah, that's about the only reason you could come up with, isn't it, for choosing anything on that? Frantic is a fucking shit pile, but yeah, I think it is the shortest song on there. Well, the second shortest song, I think, is Purify, which is widely regarded as the worst song on Saint Anger, which is to say the worst song Metallica ever recorded.
If I was going to pick one from Death Magnetic, it wouldn't be the latest instalment of The Unforgiven. It would probably be All Nightmare Long, because that's not too bad a song.
I don't know Death Magnetic all that well at all, so I would choose.
At least it's a metal album. It's not that good a metal album. It's not a very good Metallica album, but it's a lot better than Load, Reload, the thing they done with Lou Reed and fucking
S&M and Saint Anger, yeah. I mean, you just keep reeling off all these albums as, these are all shit,
Well, I mean, the best Metallica album of the 90s is probably Garage Incorporated, and after that was stuff. Well, disc 2 of that was the Garage Days revisited and some B-sides.
You had Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg B-side to the Creeping Death single, and the Garage Days EP. I mean, I would certainly go along with that. Their best album by a fucking distance from the 90s is Garage Inc. And of course, not a shred of original material on it at all. But that really does sum up 90s Metallica. It was a fucking shit fest.
Yeah, I mean, even some of that's not brilliant. I mean, I can't help but like their cover of Whiskey in the Jar, but I wish they'd covered the original Irish folk song rather than try and cover Thin Lizzy.
Cover the Thin Lizzy one, yeah.
Because that's the point when James Hetfield developed this habit of going, yeah, at the end of every word, whiskey in the jar. He's just like, fucking give it a break, James.
Yeah, Whiskey in the Jar-O as the song basically became known as, yeah. Mind you, to be fair, Phil Lynott did a fair bit of that in that particular song.
Yeah, but James Hetfield does it on everything he sings, sort of like from that period. He just puts an extra on the end of every word. Which is, you don't notice it until someone points it out to you. And once they've pointed it out to you, you hear it on every fucking video.
Yeah. One of many reasons why when it comes to Metallica, I just stick with the 80s stuff. I just totally blank out everything else. No,
I've got to
no
be honest.
surprise.
I've got to be honest. When you look at this, I've picked the 48 songs from the 480s album. I picked 2 from Hardwired, and I picked 1 from the Black Album or Metallica or whatever the fuck you want to call that album. So that's literally 7 out of my 10 from the first 4 albums. And I was really choosy with the one. I mean, like I said, The Struggle Within is the only song I can honestly say I really, really like on the Black Album. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on my list. Something else would be. So, yeah, if you discount that, up until 2015 when they released Hardwired, I didn't give a shit about anything they'd done either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you did give them, a fair hearing with Hardwired anyway. I say, for me, by that time, the damage was done, and I just had no interest in anything they did. It's entirely possible. I mean, I wouldn't guarantee it, but it's possible I could listen to Hardwired and think, oh, this is a fucking great album, but I just have no interest in new Metallica. You know, if it was released after And Justice for All, I just have no interest in it.
Yeah, I mean, I know a friend of mine bought Hardwired, and he said he was hoping for something as good as And Justice for All. And I'd already heard it, and I said, "Well, you're not going to get that." No. I said, "They're not 20-somethings, chucking all manner of white powder up their nose and into their veins and what have you, getting drunk, and coming off the back of hurting like fuck that their sort of big brother character has been killed. They're not like that. They're men heading towards their 60s. They're not teenagers anymore. You're not going to get that. Hardwired is a good metal record. Doesn't come close really to Metallica's early output because they haven't got that anger anymore.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of summing up modern Metallica. Well, there we are. So that is our top 10s. Quite the eclectic mix. I dare say...
Only 2 duplications as well.
That really does amaze me. Mind you, look at the 2 duplicates that we had, Creeping Death and Justice for All. I mean, it was almost inevitable that those 2 would get duplicated. There are some surprises. I'm amazed that Firefly with Fire and Metal Militia didn't make it on the list. But then when you had Whiplash on the list, I figured, okay, so that's going to be your fast one from Kill 'Em All. So once I heard that, I wasn't so sure about Metal Militia appearing there. But, I mean, still plenty of great ones. And no big surprise, I say, our top 3s for both of us, 2 of them were the out-and-out speed fests. That was never in doubt, was it?
Nah, not really.
So there we are. That is our Metallica's top 10. I'm sure that absolutely no one watching this will agree with either of them. But, who gives a shit? So at the next video, I want to continue with the alternating between, our top 10s, top 5s, whatever, and then doing albums. So the next one is going to be another album review. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be, but I suspect it will just be us 2 because it's going to be a metal genre that, Jim would rather fucking cut off his testicles with a rusty bread knife than listen to.
What, again?
Yeah. I've got one in mind. Yeah, I'll keep it up here for now, but I suspect you may have a bit of an idea what it is.
Well, I know of 2 that you want to do, so I'm going to go with, could be either one of them. So.
Well, anyway, so that will be the next one, and then after that, we may finally get the top 10 progressive done. I mean, my list, is right here. I've got it all written out and everything. So, we're just waiting for Jim to finally get 6 more songs added to his list.
Well, let's just start spamming his messenger. Just every time you think of it, just send him the word prog. He'll get so
Yeah.
fucked off, he'll make a list.
Yeah. Might actually get it done then, yeah.
Mind you, by the time you've edited this one, it will probably be recorded anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true, yeah. Fucking, even with the duplicates, I've still got 20 songs I've got to add to this thing, so, yeah, which means we're not going to be playing out with anything because, yeah, I'm not going to do 21 songs. Well, I don't know if I will or not. I can't think of what song I would play out with, though.
Oh, well, if it was my video, I'd have to go and find it because I don't think it's on Garage Incorporated, but my version of Garage Days had an out-of-tune version of Run to the Hills on the end of it, which always made me...
My one had that as well. Yeah. This is absolutely genuine, right? I did consider that for about the last 2 or 3 days, and then I thought, no, that would sound stupid. And now you just suggested it anyway. So yeah, there's a possibility of that. So we'll leave it at that. Anyway, that will do then for this. So yeah, if you want to add your top 10s to the comments, then who knows, we might actually read it at some point. I wouldn't bet on it though. And in the meantime, anyway, go away.